exercise we're going to focus on is going to be the internal and external rotation of the hip. So this is exercise number 2. We're building on the lower belly activation that we just did. So we're going to do this in side lying position. You're either going to be on your elbow or completely laying on your side. The further down toward the ground you are, the more rotation you're going to get out of the hip socket. But it's not necessarily better. So I want to start in an elbow position. And if the hip isn't moving at all, then we're going to go down into a laying position and do the exact same motion. So the 2 leg positions that we're going to focus on is we're going to either focus on the leg that's on the bottom, and there's going to be external rotation. So external rotation in this situation is the foot is going to come up, which means the hip is rotating out, and then internal rotation, which I'll show you in a little bit, we're going to switch positions, and so that's going to have the foot going up, but because it's the top leg, it's going to be an internal rotation. So external rotation, first thing that we're going to focus on. Top leg, for the start of it, is going to be laying straight, and knee stays down on the bottom leg. You can keep your hand on it to help if you need to, but you're going to raise your foot, and the focus is all in the hip, and you're going to have to kind of grow to know the hip in regards to the rotation. First instinct is going to be to raise the foot, and I don't want your attention at the foot. I want your attention at the hip. So you're going to rotate the hip, and you're going to go up as far as you can. I recommend doing this with your eyes closed, because with your eyes closed, you won't cheat, and you won't look to see how far you've gotten. I want you to go as far as you can. So instead of using a visual cue to say I've gotten this far, I'd rather you drive into the hip and see what you can get. So one thing that you'll notice is the better that you get at raising this position and focusing on the hip is that rotation is going to start dragging the rest of the hip into position. So as you're here and you're driving up, you're going to feel the hip kind of stabilize with you. I'm going to give you rep counts written, but that's the actual motion. In the rep counts, I'm also going to tell you to do an iso hold. The way that you're going to do an iso hold is you're going to take your top leg and you're going to put it over the foot of the lower leg, and then you're going to do the exact same motion, drive through the hip, but now the foot is anchored so you can't. So don't let the knee come up, because you're going to try to lift the knee to compensate for it. Don't let the knee come up, and you're going to drive up through the foot, and you're still rotating through. So now you're just going to kind of burn into it, burn into it, burn into it, and that's going to be the iso hold. So the other position for the internal rotation is now you're going to shift. Top leg is going to come over, so now you're resting in this position. Under the lower leg is straight underneath you. So let the hip roll over so that your knee's actually in contact, and then the rotation pattern is exactly the same. Knee stays where it is, focus is moving from the hip, foot is going to be the marker, and you're going to raise up, and you're going to go as far as you can. Again, try to do this with your eyes closed, and just drive into the hip. Focus on that rotation through the hip. You're going to go as far as you can. To iso hold it, you're going to do the exact same thing. You're going to use your lower leg, and you're going to anchor it, and then you're going to raise up through it. So one side's going to feel very different than the other, most likely. I can't predict which side is going to feel what, but you're going to do it on both sides.